What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. As I do in all of my other videos, I just want to warn you, if you're not ready to take accountability, ultimate responsibility, and find true growth in your life, then you might as well click off of this video right now, because it's not made for you. This is for people that really want to hear the truth, really want to grow, and really want to become the man that God made them to be. So as you saw from the title, I'm going to explain why every man 18 to 23 years old should be single no matter what. They should not be dating, and it will ultimately benefit them and their future relationships if they stay single during this duration of their life. And I'm not ignorant enough to think that that's the definitive timeline. That's the definitive age. There is outliers where people find people that were meant for them at an earlier age, at a later age. But I think in a general sense, this is the best age group for a man to find himself, find growth, and truly be ready to be in a relationship. Why I'm even making this video in the first place is because I stopped dating for 3 years. And I know what you guys are going to say. You're going to run to the comments. Oh, he's just saying that because he gets no women. Objectively, I don't give a shit what you think. And we both know that's not true. So let's just skip over that real quick and realize that yes, I had opportunities to date. Yes, I had girls that were interested in me. Yes, I had girls that I was interested in. But ultimately, I knew that I wasn't prepared or they weren't the person that I was looking for. And so these are the things that I was able to accomplish, grow in that 3 years of isolation and swearing off dating intentionally. The first thing for me was facing myself for the very first time. See, in my high school years, early college years, I was extremely depressed, extremely deep in addiction, and my mental health was quite frankly a 0 or 1 out of 10 on the scale. I legitimately thought I had something wrong with me for a very long time, and I even had therapists and psychiatrists try to misdiagnose me numerous times. Now that I have been able to grow, find myself, find my spiritual life, I have seen that I have none of those things. I just needed to focus on myself. I needed to heal the trauma that I went through when I was a child, and I just needed to step into who I was made to be. So when you're single, there's no longer anybody to blame. There's no longer anybody for you to point the finger at, which a lot of you guys love doing. You love blaming everything that ever happened to you on external factors. You love blaming the fact that you hate your own individual life on everybody else, your parents, your friends, your girlfriends. And that brings up my first point. When you're single, you have no longer the crutch of blaming other people, blaming external factors. You are almost forced to look at yourself in the mirror. See, you have two decisions here. You can get into drugs, you can get into alcohol, you can get into hooking up and distract yourself and run from your problems. But we all know that's the weakest thing to do. And we all know that that's not going to fulfill you at the end of the day. So, if you're smart, you're going to sit there and take it as an opportunity. You're going to stop saying, poor me. Oh, my life is so hard. Oh, I'm so alone. Nobody cares about me. And start caring about yourself. You're going to start gutting yourself inside and out. Everything that you are doing that's hurting you, everything you're doing that's hurting other people, and all of the behaviors and habits that you have developed coping with the pain that you feel. So for the first time in your life, as a single man, you can actually face the music, you can face reality, and stop sticking your head up your ass every single day, scrolling your life away, going on Tinder, going on Bumble, trying to find the first girl that's going to give you attention. And you could give yourself some attention for once. You could actually learn how to like yourself. You can actually learn how to work on yourself, what you believe in, and what your goals will be to help you accomplish who you were made to be. The second and absolutely most important thing that happened to me in the 3 years of singleness was I found God and I built a relationship with God. If you guys have seen my videos before, I say it all the time. But I didn't grow up in the church. I didn't grow up religious. And quite frankly, I never had anybody try to push it on me. Randomly one day, in one of the worst moments of my life, days following my last relationship, matter of fact, I found God randomly. Randomly one day, I was walking, I walked by a church, I heard the music. It was so damn beautiful that I had to peek in. A man met me at the door named Alan, and he invited me into the church. When I sat in that church, I came in a depressed man. I came in a man who lived through his limitations, who always blamed everything on everybody else. But the moment that I sat down, I felt a peace that I have never felt before. And even not knowing God, even not ever learning about God, I knew that that sense of peace was not from this world. I knew it instantaneously. It wasn't a feeling. It wasn't spiritual psychosis, as you guys like to say. It was a knowing that I had met God face to face, and he had just wrapped his arms around me, saying, "This is the last time that I let you destroy yourself." And so after finding God, I ultimately started making videos for the same reasons. If you guys have been following me for quite a while, you know that I started with evangelism. I started going over scripture, breaking down God's messages, and helping anybody understand them. And that ultimately sparked me knowing my purpose and knowing what God was calling me to do in my life. And years later, I stand before the camera once again because it is my purpose and I love it, and it has fulfilled me to a level that I cannot even explain. I went from giving into every temptation, giving into every relationship that I possibly could. It didn't matter how toxic that girl was. It didn't matter how many red flags there were. I just wanted somebody beside me to feel something. I was so numb for so many years, dealing with the death of my father, dealing with the passing of one of my friends at the hands of himself. There was so much confusion and pain that I felt that I had no idea what to do for 7+ years of my life. So I got addicted to substances. I would get a girlfriend back to back to back. I was a serial dater. I was always distracting myself, begging people to hang out with me just so I didn't have to face myself. But then I found God, and I realized that all the love that I was searching for in people was just love I was seeking from God. I never knew it until I was about 20 years old, but that love, that filling of the void that I was always searching for, was found in God. In following that, I quit my addictions. I started taking care of myself. I started actually investing in myself and giving energy into myself and realizing that the way I was living was completely pathetic and unacceptable. So I thank God for that in this moment, and I pray that all of you get to feel that feeling. Because I was the most troubled person you would ever know. I was the laziest person you would ever know. I've hurt more people than I can count. But God still wrapped his arms around me that day and saved me from myself. I'm not here to make you conform or anything like that, but I hope through my personal story that you at least become curious to give it a chance. A lot of you like to speak about logic. Oh, it's so illogical how you could believe in something so imaginary, so fake, so made up. It is way more logical to believe in something than to believe in nothing. And quite frankly, I'll just be honest, I think it is the most cowardly route to believe in nothing. And I'm not judging you, I'm not shaming you, but I want you to really think about that. That's illogical. Next thing that happened in this 3 years of singleness was I doubled my income and I started investing. See, I had so much time and energy on my hands, and I was no longer giving it to every Becky and Stacy that crossed my eye path, and I decided, let me teach myself some skills. Let me figure out, try things, and see what I actually care about, what I actually want to do with my life. So I started educating myself on finances. I started educating myself on things like self-improvement and fitness and things like that. So I doubled my income in those 3 years, and my income has only continued to grow year after year. And I understand that a lot of people make a lot more money than me, and they're doing a whole lot better than me. But when I started this journey, I was unemployed. I was burning through my savings account. That wasn't even the money that I saved. It was the money that my mom saved me for college. But I ended up dropping out, and I was door dashing, and I was buying zips every other day, burning through that savings account. My rent, I think, was like $600, and I had a job at one point, and I still couldn't get myself to pay it because I was just blowing my money on bullshit. I was finding the most comfortable and convenient route for every single part of my life. How I ate, how I traveled. I was spending money that I simply didn't have, and I ended up quitting my job impulsively, and it only got worse from there. So through educating myself in finances, which I would like to give a big shout out to one of my mentors, Alex. I don't know if he'll ever watch this video, but I met this man at one of my jobs, and he taught me how to build my credit in less than a year. He taught me about investing in stocks and cryptocurrency. And in that year, I was able to invest over $12,000 accumulatively into all of those things. I built my credit to a 750 in less than a year. And if you know anything about credit, that's pretty hard to do. But I give it all to him and for God for putting him in my life. But this financial information is not something they're going to teach you in school. Quite frankly, they don't want you to know. Quite frankly, they don't want you to know. They don't want you to have good credit. They want you to just hold on to your money, save it forever, and hope one day you can live. But really, that doesn't work anymore. You have to be investing, and I would recommend, no matter how young you are, even if it's $10 a week, start investing right now. That compound interest over time, you will thank yourself later. And finances was just one piece of the puzzle. I started learning more about psychology. I started learning more about humans. I started learning more about myself. Because the easiest way to learn about other people is to use yourself as an example. Just do a study on yourself. Become so self-reflective and just pick yourself apart in the most healthy way possible to where you learn so much about yourself that you can also read other people almost like a book. And you get to a level at a certain point when you are really immersed in psychology and how humans interact and how business works, that you literally could read anybody within a matter of like 20 minutes. Unless they're a master manipulator and they know more than you about psychology, you could pretty much see through anybody like a window. You could see their ill will, you could see their true intentions, and that's gonna help you in so many different ways of your life. Another thing I was able to accomplish in that 3 years of singleness is I created my personal brand and my business. As you can see, I don't have a bunch of followers. I don't have a bunch of views, but I've accumulated over 15 million views over all platforms, and I've gotten countless messages from people telling me, hey Ryan, you've really helped to turn around my life. You've really impacted my life. And that's all I really ever wanted. I don't really care about followers. I don't care if I stay stuck here for another 2 years, because I'm not doing it for that. I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it because I want to help you. I genuinely do. And if I didn't want to help you, then I wouldn't be 2+ years into this. I would have already quit because my why wouldn't be big enough. And that was just one of the things that I had to seek and find for myself. Not only what I wanted to do, but why am I doing it in the first place? But technically, I created a personal brand and I started my business. So I do a coaching business, especially for young men that are struggling with purpose, struggling with the same things that I struggled with for 7+ years of my life, and I basically teach them how I got through it. See, anybody could read a book and regurgitate things to you. Anybody could watch enough YouTube and regurgitate that to you as well. But I lived it. I felt the pain that you feel on a daily basis. So what's a better source? A guy repeating information or a guy that actually lived what you're going through? So I built my business based off of that to try to be the person that I wish I had when I was struggling. And now I live in purpose and I feel fulfilled every single day. I pray that each and every one of you feels the actual genuine joy that I feel on a daily basis. Just simply by waking up every single day, I am so happy to be alive. I jump out of my bed. I am so excited to tackle my goals and so excited to learn more about myself, become more aligned with myself, that I literally cannot describe it. And I just literally pray that all of you feel that one day, because this is what life is supposed to be. Life isn't supposed to be suffering. Life isn't supposed to be giving your life away to other people. It's not supposed to be becoming what other people want you to be. It's becoming aligned with your meaning and your purpose and finding something that's bigger than yourself. A lot of times when you're depressed, when you're anxious, it's because you're focusing on what you can do for yourself. You're always focusing on what's wrong with your life and what you need to do to make yourself feel better. But when you shift your focus, and the Bible talks a lot about it, just being servant attitude, and just really doing whatever you can for the next man, for all of your neighbors, you will find that your life individually dramatically improves. And that was one of the biggest shifts that spirituality and just overall growth revealed to me. I was always so focused on myself. I was always so focused on my pain and how I felt. But it came to a certain point where I realized the more that I can give to others, the more that I can offer to others, the more I can become a catalyst of value, information, and impact, the better my life feels individually, the better I feel about myself, because now I have evidence of confidence. Now I have evidence that I am who I say I am. I don't have to pretend anymore. I don't have to put out a front, put out a mask to people like I am this great guy that does these great things. I just put my head down and I work every single day to try to become 1% better. And when you get on that path and you know what you're shooting for, your life dramatically improves. But if you have a bunch of friends in your ear that aren't really your friends, if you're a serial dater like I once was, and you're investing all of your time and all of your energy into these women that don't care about you, you miss out on all of that. You miss out on all of this discovery. You miss out on revealing who you truly are. And that's why I would recommend that a lot of you just don't date at all. And I did 3 years, but you guys, some of you guys should do like 5 years or even more than that. Whatever it takes for you to sit there and be like, you know what? I think I'm finally ready to treat somebody correctly and also have the standards to be able to know who's going to treat me correctly. And we'll get to that later in the video. So we kind of touched on this a little bit, but emotional and mental stability. I gained an ultimate sense of peace within myself. I gained an ultimate level of self-belief, self-love in these 3 years by simply facing myself and taking accountability. Really just looking in the mirror and saying, you know what? All these times that you pointed the finger, what did you do? What was your side in that situation? Who have you hurt? What behaviors do you have that are not just a detriment to yourself, but they're a detriment to other people? And really just no filter, grilling myself in the most healthy way possible. A lot of you guys will say, oh, that sounds unhealthy. It sounds like you're beating yourself up. No, I'm building myself up. And that's all a matter of perspective. Truth reveals growth. If you're not willing to face the truth and you want to live in delusion for your entire life, then you're not going to be happy, not at all. And you're not going to make anybody else happy either. They're not going to respect you. They're not going to treat you the way that you want them to, because you're going to let anybody come into your life, take your soul away from you each and every time and time again. You're not going to learn the lesson that you should have learned the first time. And ultimately, you will become a victim of your own stupid behavior. I had a lot of emotional issues growing up. My father died when I was young, so I missed out on that masculine figure in my life. I never really had a masculine figure to show me what a real man does. And you know, my mom dated men, but they weren't good men. And they were just putting up that mask, trying to pretend they were somebody that they're not. So all I really learned growing up was what not to be. That's all I really was able to gain through my childhood and my young adult life, was what not to be, how not to treat women and stuff like that. And a lot of the things that I've witnessed have allowed me to understand the true impact that that can have on a woman, and that it's not just you losing your cool. It's not just you being stressed out. It's not just you being fed up. It's you being a child and you being unhealed. And at a certain point, you have to grab your fucking balls and stop being a little boy, stop mistreating people, and stop trying to be praised by women. See, a lot of dudes will get into relationships just to validate themselves, just to feel like for a moment that they truly are who they think they are, just to drain that person and ultimately take everything good that that person is willing to give them and use it for their own selfish urges, endeavors, things of that nature. That's completely unacceptable. And we all know that dating right now is quite frankly horrible. And there's a reason for that. Because everybody's focusing on what they want, what that person's going to do for them. Oh, what does this person bring to the table? A lot of people that say that don't even have the right to say that. You sit on your couch every day and you rip a 20-inch bong and chill with your homies playing Madden. And then you'll turn around and expect an amazing woman that's driven, that's working hard, that's disciplined, that's taking care of themselves to come into your life and respect you. And this doesn't just go one way. A lot of women don't deserve good men either. It's a two-way street. I'm not here to just be a white knight and stand up for all the women in the world. I just know what a bad man does to a good woman because I saw it my whole life. And I made it a point after a while, after a lot of mistakes, after hurting a lot of people, to not be that guy. To treat people like human beings. This isn't a transaction that you're doing. This isn't something where you just get to gain everything and give nothing. That's for women and men, whoever's listening right now. It's not a transaction, it's not a competition, it's a partnership. And it's going to take a lot of isolation and a lot of self-discovery to even realize that and stop being a selfish prick. This is one of the biggest benefits of this whole entire thing: stress regulation and time management. A lot of women that you guys chase on a daily basis are just stress-inducing, horrible people that you should not be giving your time to. They're taking all of your time because you're wondering when she's going to text me back. Oh, when she's going to text me back. Why is she not texting me back? Oh, I don't know if she likes me or not. You're a grown-ass man, dude. Like, you should be worried about much more than a girl texting you back, than a girl validating you, and just begging a girl to like you. If she likes you, you're going to know. If she's interested in you, you're going to know. And it's only through knowing good standards and actually having standards for yourself that you're going to know what you should tolerate and what you shouldn't. Time management. Women are an investment of time, money, energy, everything under the sun. So if you're not in the position to where you could still prioritize your individual goals, your individual pursuits on top of pursuing a woman, then you shouldn't even be thinking about it. A lot of you are in the worst spot of your life, and your top priority is to find a chick. That's the last thing you should be worrying about, dude. You literally sit in your room every day, play Fortnite, and jerk it in the corner, bro. You should not be thinking about getting a girlfriend. And I'm saying this because, listen, man, I've been there. My main goal at one point was to get a girlfriend. My main goal in my entire life, for years of my life, was find the next girl to love me. Try to fill that void that they would never fill. You got to fill that for yourself. You got to find a spiritual life. You got to find something bigger than you and realize that the love you're looking for is not in human beings. It's in the higher power. And if you're somebody that does have goals and you are disciplined and you are striving for your purpose, you shouldn't just be dishing out your time to Tom and Jared and all of your high school hometown friends that just want to go to the same bar every single weekend and do the same shit only to get stuck in a loop. Because let me tell you, when you guys turn 30, you're going to be in the same place and they will always still be there. They're never going to change. And I get it. Oh, those are my day ones, man. I grew up with those guys. Well, some of them, they need to go. And if you really want to grow, you need to cut them off. And if you don't, then you're going to be just as mediocre as the rest of them. And you could say, oh, Ryan, isn't that a transactional mindset? Oh, are you just trying to leech off of all your friends? Do they have to be doing exceptional things? No. But they have to have a backbone, they have to have integrity, and they have to have a willingness to be better. Because who you surround yourself with is ultimately what you become. Proximity is power. And if you don't realize that now, especially if you're on the younger age of the spectrum, then your life is fucked. Your life is fucked, man. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Another huge benefit, and this might be one of the most important ones, is you learn what love actually is. See, a lot of you think you know what love is. A lot of you think you're in love right now, and you don't have the first semblance of an idea of what love is. You have absolutely no clue what love truly is. And if you want to learn, read the Bible. That's my first recommendation. But a lot of you confuse love with lust. You see a girl, she's pretty, and you think that's enough. You think, oh, as long as she's pretty and she stands next to me and she makes me look good, then she doesn't have to do anything else. She doesn't have to bring anything else to the situation. That's bullshit. If you actually have standards and you actually are trying to build yourself and you're actually focused on the fact that you're a valuable human being, you're not just going to fall for every pretty girl that crosses your path. You're going to look for somebody with substance, with depth, with compassion. You're going to look for somebody that reflects the same amount of effort that you do. You're going to look for somebody that can teach you something and not just be a clone of you, not just attached to you. You want to look for somebody that disagrees with you. You want to look for somebody that has alternative opinions than you. And they can open up your mind and challenge your perspective. And you could be two adults standing across from each other constantly, learning from each other, helping each other grow, and pouring that effort and that care into each other that you should be. That's what love is. Love isn't about you. Love is about sacrifice. Love is about realizing that if you don't feel butterflies in your stomach 24/7, then that's not an issue, because that's not real. You've watched far too many Netflix rom-coms, and you think that you're always going to have this burning feeling for your person. Oh, the spark is going to be there right away. That couldn't be further from the truth. As you discover this person, you will find new ways to fall in love with them. And in that conflict, you will not find ways to grow apart. You will find ways to grow closer together, to understand each other better, to treat each other better, to find other ways to serve each other, and always be only fighting mostly about what you could do for the other person. And they're going to be fighting you about wanting to do things for you. Because you're both in that servant mindset. You're both in that mindset where you're like, I love this person, I genuinely care about them, and no matter how different they are from me, I know that we connect on a soul level, on a value level, on a moral level. So I'm willing to learn them even when I don't agree, even when it ends in an argument, even when it's not convenient for me. It's not about you. It's not about your comfort all the time. No, the girl should not be stressing you out. You should not be losing years of your life just trying to deal with this girl's attitude and the fact that she doesn't show up for you. But not all conflict is negative. Not all conflict is unhealthy. It's actually an opportunity to expose the fact that you are two different people, and you're standing on the fact that you're two different people. One of you isn't conforming to the other. One of you isn't merging identities with the other, because that's not love. That's not love at all. Finding a girl at the bar, thinking she's hot, hooking up with her the first time you meet her is not love. Seeking that connection, that sexual connection so early on, and really only liking each other or finding interest in each other based on how you look or your physical attraction to each other is not love. You should love their intellectual, emotional abilities more than anything. Yes, of course, we all have physical standards, but it's not the only standard. Which brings me to my next point, individual goals / responsibilities. So when you're single, you have to say, okay, what am I going to do with my life? Not everybody's taking my energy anymore. I don't have a girl distracting me 24/7, so it's time to face the music. What am I about as a man? What do I believe in? What am I going to strive for in this life? And if you don't have anything, you really need to figure that out quickly. Something that I would recommend that is the easiest way to build discipline, hands down, is fitness, going to the gym. When you go to the gym, you have to make a goal. I want to build muscle. Okay, now I have to eat a certain way in order to accomplish that. I need to go to the gym a certain amount of days to accomplish that. I need to sleep a certain amount to accomplish that. So in this one goal, you are curating a healthier lifestyle, healthier discipline, healthier habits, and before you know it, you can translate that into the other parts of your life. And that's exactly what I did. That was the first step for me. I found, you guessed it, David Goggins. I saw that he was a 400-pound exterminator that was lazy, hated his life, didn't take care of himself, but then became this absolute monster, has accomplished things that most people will never even think about doing. And I resonated with that a lot because I was a loser. I was lazy. I didn't take care of myself. So I saw it as an opportunity to say, you know what, if that guy could do that, I could do it too. And so I started running first, and I signed up for a half marathon with no training 3 months later. And when that time came, I ran that damn half marathon. And the next year, I decided I wanted to gain weight and gain muscle. I was severely underweight. I stand at about 6'2". I was 155 pounds. And in just a year and some change, I grew to 215 pounds. That's discipline. That is relentlessness, and that is day after day showing up, even when you don't directly see results. That is your first step if you haven't tried it yet. This might be most important. I would say this is the most important thing on this entire list. Ultimate accountability. I mentioned it earlier, but a lot of you live in delusion. A lot of you live in this idea of what your life is, and oh, I'm young, so I have a lot of time. And yes, you do have time. You have time to make mistakes. You don't have time to sit on your ass and not try anything. You don't have time to be comfortable. You have time to try things, pushing yourself, challenging yourself to ultimately make mistakes that are going to teach you and get you closer to that one thing that you're supposed to do. See, that's the time that you have. The time should be spent trying any and everything that you think you can resonate with and failing at it. Failing 500 times, but not seeing it as failure, but seeing it as a learning experience and an opportunity for you to take the lesson from that and get one step closer to the truth, to what you were meant for, and to being the man that you're supposed to be. I want you to be so ruthlessly accountable. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror right now, and if you aren't who you're supposed to be, telling yourself that. And you can say, oh, Ryan, that's unhealthy. You're pushing men to be bad to themselves, to be unhealthy to themselves. Well, it's only unhealthy if you're soft and sensitive about it. It's only unhealthy if you see it as a bad thing. But that truth and that discomfort of facing who you truly are is going to help you a lot more than having a bunch of yes men around you telling you how great you are when it's not the truth. The only reason they're telling you that is because they're also not great. They're also not striving for anything. And the fact that you don't as well makes them feel comfortable being average, being mediocre, and not showing up for themselves. Plain as that. Last but not least, knowing your actual standards. So when you do go to seek a partner in the future, when you go look for that woman to spend your life with, that life partner, you're going to know what you should actually tolerate because you've spent time building yourself now. You have the discipline, you have a steady career, you have attainable, measurable goals, you're constantly pushing yourself, you're constantly educating yourself, you take care of your body, you take care of your hygiene, the whole nine. So, you're no longer going to accept anybody that doesn't do the same thing. You're fishing in a smaller pond. And I'll be very honest with you. Dating after you do all of this is going to be a lot more difficult. Because you're not just going to look at anybody anymore and say, oh, I'll take that one because she's pretty. I'll take that one because she's got a fatty. You'll actually think about what's important and say, okay, can she add to my life? Or is she going to take away from my life? Is she still trying to be a child? Is she still trying to be immature and toxic? Or is she going to be healthy just as I am and truly pour into my life? If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the sub button, and DM me on Instagram right here if you want to do a one-on-one coaching call with me personally on how to build your life back up.